Tensions rise with linked arrests, staged interviews, and Jen's influence exposed.
Wondering if they were linked. I truly believe it's true. So Deb has been watching the stuff in Florida too and saying it's all speculation about it being linked to Jen Stefan and the whole thing that we've said, that we've talked about. Yeah, I am ignoring the trolls, but I'm just saying, I'm just letting you know one time, don't tell me how to run my show, anybody. If you don't like it, then leave. All right. Okay. So that being said, okay, so we talked about the appointment for Botox, and Deb wants to know, where'd that money go? And then I want to clear up the seatbelt. We think, do you remember I told you guys the seatbelt in the front seat? There's a seatbelt in the front seat. Yes, everything is IMO. Everything's in my opinion, folks. This is my show, and I state it, my opinion. So I'm reading text messages. In my opinion, and in Deb's opinion, the dog seatbelts were always in the car. So you remember when I told you that doggy seatbelt that I thought Stefan Stearns strapped Maddie in? That, in fact, wasn't that. He actually, we think, used a seatbelt. And this is by me talking to Deb, saying that all the doggy seatbelts were in there at all times. So they always had 3 seatbelts in there. And she knows because he was using that car originally. All right. So what I speculated was wrong. Maybe he used that, but it was already in the seat. So that morning when Stefan Stearns went up to Jen Soto's room and he said that he was going to walk the dog, he might have walked the dog, or he might have been using that as a way to, get more information from her without anyone knowing. All right. Thank you, Mama Fee, for becoming a new member. Thank you all here for supporting me. Those that don't can get out of here. Yeah, the poodle ambulance. There you go. So we clarify that by saying that the poodle ambulance always had 3 of those in the car at all times. So maybe he used it, maybe he didn't. I always thought that Stefan Stearns went in there, got the leash, and used that to hold Maddie up. But more than likely, he used the seatbelt, and that was already in the car. Whether he used it or not, I don't know, but that was clarified. All right. And you guys can read ahead of me if you want. I'm going at my pace. All right, so then I can't read that. It's too small. So let me go onto that screen and take a look what that says. And then, okay, no regular. Yeah, it was no regular seatbelt. And then she didn't want to have Maddie rescued, damaged. We're talking about the interview. Yeah, like and subscribe from Orlando. What's up, everybody? Yeah, you thought that too, Melanie. You thought that too. I thought he used that. I didn't realize it was the poodle ambulance and it was always in the car. All right. So then we went into giving away the interview. That was an interview about Maddie being abducted. Now, I got to tell you, that interview where Maddie was abducted, where Jen keeps insisting, somebody messaged me this last week and told me that they're part of Jen Soto's family and that they have proof that she was lying in that interview from the start. Now, I'm not allowed to say their name. Now, this is outside of Deb and Chris, but they messaged me and said that whole interview was very staged and so many lies, and they have proof. So I just need to call them, get that. That'll be a whole nother interview. But the reason I even talked about it right now was because they talked about it to me and they told me that they have proof of it. And so I said, oh, so I need to figure that out. All right. So let me get to this. I can't even find I'm trying to find that. Let me find the file with the text from Deb. Okay. So I'm going to go. So now some more text. Let's just clear some things up. Deb says, spending time with us. Maybe it was you. Okay. So now I also told you that Jen wanted Stefan to marry her. You know how Jen she did not correct officers calling Stefan her husband, calling her Stefan's wife. She wanted that. Deb says she plopped down on the couch beside her about 1 year into the relationship, held out her left hand, and she said, you better tell him to put a ring on it. And I was acting thrilled to let her know that my real feelings about that was, I mean, who does that? At one time she wanted to marry Stefan, and then another time she said, hell no, I'll lose my welfare. Then she also said that they felt like common law marriage people. So I talked to you guys about that before. Jen absolutely stuck up for Stefan Stearns because I believe in my opinion, she's involved. And she also didn't want Stefan to leave. She didn't want him to get caught. She called Chris right away. That's in the text messages. She immediately called Chris Stearns and said, get a lawyer. Now, I heard that directly from Chris, all right? Directly from Chris and Deb. All right, so let's keep going. I can't see that little bit on the screen. All right, and then let's clear up some more things. We'll get to the Q&A. Does not want to be associated with... Okay, so this is about Stefan's brother. Yeah, Jen's a dill. Deb said Jen's a dill. All right, you'll get a little bit of that, but we're trying to definitely stick into like question and answer. It's kind of funny hearing that. All right, so Stefan's brother doesn't want to be associated with Stefan at all. So no questions about him. I wish there were more accumulated time that she could spend over 7 years. You'll hear in the answers how more or less between 30 and 60 days. They wanted to see Stefan more, but Jen kept him to herself. Whenever Stefan was home, he would walk around on the phone on FaceTime, and Jen would be trying to dictate what Stefan was doing. So we always think, Stefan was running the show. No, Jen is running the show. In my opinion, I've always said she's the puppet master. Right, a couple more things. Stefan said, Deb says that Stefan would jump when Jen said how high, right? She would say jump, and he didn't even ask how high. Now, she says, I believe she is behind all this. She isn't dumb. She does a great job playing the hard luck victim, though, and poor me, I had a bad back. I'm bipolar. I don't like my meds. I won't take them. I have a young child. That means I can't go do what I want. So I just want to stay high and sleep, not work. And she told that to Stefan's parents, right? You're trying to get this dude to marry you. And this guy that's, by the way, abusing your daughter, that you're letting abuse your daughter, and you're going to say this? This is like crazy. All right. So Deb said she never bought into the act. Maybe that's, she didn't want them to spend time with them. All right. So then a couple more things. She says that Maddie, I asked them about Maddie. She was very intelligent. All right. Deb says no signs of any of that stuff, right? Jen and Stefan also shared a therapist, which is why Maddie wasn't in therapy if she had problems. If the therapist suspected that if this therapist suspected anything, she was bound to oath to call the cops, and the gravy train would be shut down. Right? So do you guys even realize what I just said? Jen Soto was sharing a therapist with Stefan Stearns, who's abusing her daughter, but her daughter's not getting a therapy session because she doesn't want her to tell a therapist what's happening because she doesn't want to lose her gravy train. Again, all in my opinion. I'm not law enforcement. I don't have the paperwork that says here's the text messages that happened. Here's the text messages from law enforcement. But Jen Soto shared a freaking therapist with Stefan, but never got therapy for Maddie, who was the one being abused, by the way, because the money would stop.